So I am interviewing you for a podcast named 542 Humans. And welcome, and can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, of course. Hello, my name is Tani, and I currently am working. I graduated college right before the pandemic, um, and I work in the international industry. Um, I currently live with my family, my parents, and I am 26 years old.
Sorry, I didn't understand where you're from.
I am from the United States.
Oh, okay, all right. Mm, and you work in international industry.
Yes.
What kind of job is that? Is this?
The it's a little complicated, so it's kind of hard for me to simplify. I work in the maritime logistics company, which is like shipped out at ports, and we ship things back and forth
Mm. So what
between countries and such.
what role do you have in this? Are you like a commercial? Like are you selling things or more like organization?
I work with and so I work for this. I'm involved. It's so complicated. the- so I work with this Japanese company in at their American headquarters, and my role is that I specifically focus around the South American region, where I manage space on a ship, see how much cargo we can load onto the ship, and then where they go and such. Um, my colleagues come to me, they talk to the customers, and then they tell us, "Hey, this customer wants to send this. Can your ship go here to here?"
Mm.
And usually I can tell them, "Yeah, we can," or "Unfortunately, we don't have enough space anymore," or and such like that.
Mm. And do you like it? What do you think about your job?
It's fun. I really love talking to people from different backgrounds, specifically more international backgrounds.
Mm.
I but besides that, sometimes recently, like the past 2 weeks, I've been working over overtime, and I'm not getting paid for it because I'm salary, and it's not by force, but more so I want to. Not really. I don't want to. It's if I don't do it, it's gonna negatively affect my coworkers, and they will have to work overtime. So it's a weird thing. I'm working way too much now. Um,
Mm. Is it does it make
like
you
the work environment. Besides that, my coworkers. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say is this job does it make you proud, like this kind of job?
Mm, I would say neutral. I don't feel too proud, but I don't feel ashamed of doing it.
Hmm.
I feel it's like a step for me to keep climbing higher. Um, I don't see myself being in this company forever. I would hope to find another job of higher paying and eventually find something that I would like to do for the rest of my working career. Um, and to
Hmm.
me, that would, if I could imagine it, I would like to be working in a foreign company, have a lot of opportunities to talk to people of different backgrounds,
What time is it for you right now?
cultures. Um, it is. 4:16 p.m.
All right. How do you feel right now?
Well, a little anxious because I I know this is being recorded, so it's like anything I do or say, it's out there. And also a little worried.
Worried about what?
I think I am in some relationship issues at the moment, so it's just worrisome.
That's interesting. Are you okay to talk about it?
Oh, really? Yeah, I'll talk about it. Just I won't, out of respect for my partner, I won't say her name or.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Or in case she listens to this.
You're fresher now.
Yeah. So, hey, if you're listening to this, I love you, and she's wonderful. Yeah. So, I about 2 weeks ago, we met on a dating app. Around this time, actually, a year ago, we matched on a dating app, and then went on a couple dates, and then we officially started dating in February of this year. And then 2 weeks ago, I actually ended up breaking up with her. And then a week later, I asked her to have a talk with me, try to see if we can get some closure, and then we ended up starting again. So far it's been okay until yesterday, and at least from my perspective, it was unexpected, but I'm not exactly sure what the issue is. She was just upset about something, and eventually it went to me, and then she started asking me, why am I scared of her or worried about her or something, anything like that sort of question. And I decided to just be honest, just like, yeah, I am a little on edge. I'm a little scared of you at the moment. And she was asking questions, why, and it was just some of the questions and the way she said them just made me feel even more tense and weary. So the call, that was last night, and now things are a little awkward today, and then now she finally texted me today that she wants to talk. And there's something serious she wants to talk about, so I have no idea what it is, what I did, but just talk about it.
Yeah, I can understand why you are worried. It's like one of the most worrying thing in the world. Like,
yeah,
when someone tells you we need to talk. So why? What do you like the most about her?
We have really good chemistry. In my perspective, if you ask me, probably she's one of the very few people I really click with so instantly, or so as much as we do. I mean, I'm an extrovert, so I connect with a lot of people and just say, oh yeah, like, get along with a lot of people. With her, it's just we have similar backgrounds, similar life upbringings and interests and goals in life. So it's just the chemistry all together on top of all of that. Just it feels really good, and we have the same interests. Which for me, at least in partners, was kind of a little hard to find.
What do you think about that you met through a dating app?
At first, I kind of feel like, a little embarrassed. It's just like, oh no. It's like, I mean, I was on there to date seriously, find somebody, but at the same time, I was kind of like, oh, what if my friends or family ask you, how'd you meet her? Dating app. It's kind of, at least in Western culture, it's kind of weird. It kind of feels a little awkward at the moment. At least it feels that way. But I think nowadays people don't really care that much. It's like, oh, okay, it's just they just want to know how you met your partner. So right now, I kind of just feel like we met on the app. It's normal nowadays.
Yeah, I feel like there is sometimes a little bit of shame to meet someone on a dating app. Like it's not very romantic, or like it's not a beautiful story,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like, oh, I wish it was like a drama. Like, oh, it was love at first sight. I saw her at the Family Mart. She was buying candy, and I was buying a beer, and after that, it was history, or something like that.
What would be the most?
No, it was just like,
yeah. What would be the most
Okay.
important thing in a relationship for you?
Communication, and I would say is the first one. It's just we need to communicate, or there'll just be issues.
And
yeah. And I would say just, I guess, agreeing on a couple of things. You don't have to be in a complete agreement, but be able to compromise.
Yeah.
And really listen, try to understand each other. Understanding.
And what kind of are you looking for someone in the long term, or is it like how do you project yourself in the future with in this relationship?
Yeah, I would like to, go long term. My current girlfriend as my last relationship. It's my, married, have a family, life partner.
Would you say that you are experienced in a romantic relationship?
I've been in. This is my second relationship, so I would like to say, I think I would say no. I think I am not as experienced as say other people, but I feel I am mature, very mature, and very understanding.
All right. I don't know what else we could learn from this. So it's been 1 year, and so why did you break up, if you mind sharing?
So what I said earlier about communication is probably important. We have, to be honest, we have shitty communication. And it's just led to a lot of misunderstandings and a lot of just issues. And it started maybe like 3 months into the relationship, and it's just been going on. So I felt extremely tired and of like the fighting and stuff. I tried like I would say the majority or the entirety relationship I've been working on trying to have a way to be able to, we can both communicate and be able to listen to each other and try to understand each other. But it's just, I mean, of course it's going to be my perspective, but it just doesn't seem like she's trying. But I think if I try to be objective as possible, I think this relationship is like a big boulder. We're trying to move it out of the way, and one of us is trying to push, and the other's trying to pull, not on the same page, and it's just we end up getting nowhere. So I was just so tired. I tried to be understanding of her, and then expecting that she'd do the same thing back for me, but it just didn't happen. And talked to friends, my therapist, and it was just they weren't telling me to break up, but they were telling me, don't expect the relationship to just change all of a sudden. If this is how it keeps going, there's no change. It's probably going to end up being like this for the entire relationship. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought, I don't want to be in this. So I ended up trying to talk that out one more time. Well, not really one more time, 3 more times. And it just didn't end up working. And then I just told her, I think, what if we just break up? And then she didn't want to break up. And I already, to me, like me trying to break up is a very serious thing. So it's just like, once I say it, it's just like I kind of already ended the relationship. I put like a damage to the relationship. So I broke up with her.
And how did you get to a therapist? Like, what brought you to a therapist?
I have a therapist I've been seeing for maybe 2 years. My first relationship, she was the one who encouraged me to go see a therapist because of I had I don't want to say it's trauma, but a little bit of trauma from a job I had that I eventually got over through with therapy. Yeah.
What is it? Sorry, I don't understand. What trauma it is?
So I don't know if I should be calling it
It's fine.
trauma, but I graduated in college during COVID, so I couldn't find a job. So I had a friend. He said he was working with the police, and he said you should try, you should apply, and maybe it's not something you want to do, but it could, you can make money while you keep looking for another job. So I said, okay, I'll try it out. And it was like the target salary I was trying to make out of college. So I applied. Of course, I made it all the way through. I got hired. And it was essentially boot camp. And, the stereotype of a boot camp is just like they yell at you, they make you do ridiculous things. Any little tiny mistake, minuscule mistake, they'll get you for and punish you for it. Just all for the sake of like training, I guess, trying to build discipline or something like that. But I before going into that, I already had some mental just issues I had. Like I was already depressed, but I didn't know about it. I had confidence issues. So I went into that and everyone's yelling at you. And I was yelling at myself mentally. So of course, outside and inside, I just completely fell apart. And I just said, I can't do this anymore. And I quit. And after that, all the instructors were like, whoa, wait, what do you mean? They're like, oh, no, don't quit. Don't quit. You're doing such a good job. You're always on time. You're always this and that. And I was like, no, I can't do this. I just can't do this. So I quit like about a week and a half into the program.
Mm. And it was like
and
a
I felt shame.
police program, right? You said?
Yes,
Yeah.
for the police.
Wow. That's weird. I mean, interesting as well.
Yeah, I had a degree and ended up going there, and everyone there didn't have barely had a high school education as the highest. So it was like, what was the point of me going there or going to college if I ended up there?
What would be a trauma and what wouldn't be a trauma to you?
I didn't. I feel like people. There are a lot of people who had it a lot worse. For me, it was just people yelled at me, and I felt shame that I quit so early because I couldn't handle people yelling at me. So it feels like that's like nothing compared to people who've gone through a list of things like um, trigger warning to anyone listening, but who've gone through sexual assault, you know, been abused or had some sort of traumatic event that um, that understandably ruin like destroys a person. I feel like I had my life. I had the most lucky upbringing. I think like I'm a very lucky person. My life has not really ever been that hard. It hasn't been perfect, but it hasn't been really hard. I'm 26. I still live with my family, so I'm not homeless. I have a job now that pays an okay wage. I have a car that I'm paying. I'm able to afford all my bills that I have.
Yeah, but it doesn't seems to like it seems to be it was hard. Like depression is quite hard, and yeah, I don't know. Like sometimes it's good to recognize. Like one of the questions I often ask is, what is the hardest ordeal you experienced?
Mm.
So would you say it was this experience in the bootcamp?
No, actually, it wouldn't be my hardest. Um, all my issues are pretty like every day. Like a lot of people have probably experienced it. Nothing crazy. Um, my hardest ordeal was when my first girlfriend broke up with me.
Mm-hmm. Can
That was probably the hardest time of my life.
yeah, I can empathize for this. Um, how would you describe depression? Like, what is depression to you?
Can you repeat that again? You cut out a little bit. I didn't
Uh,
catch it all.
oh, sorry. Um, what do you think? What do you think about depression, and what is depression to you?
Um, Depression, I think it's just when someone is having mentally a hard time dealing with their life circumstances or whatever it may be. It could be internal, external, but something in their life has led them to start doubting, having doubts, having worries, start really making them experience extreme emotions um, where they feel inadequate. They don't feel like they're enough. And depression to me is I guess in my personal experience, it's just feeling disappointed in myself and knowing I could just stop anytime. I have the power and the ability to, the skill, but I just end up in the same place and not using any of that to my advantage. So it's led me to feel not confident in my ability or be able to trust myself to be able to complete things. It's disappointment.
Another, so it's absolutely not related, but what do you think about politics?
Politics? Oh man, you ask an American about politics, they'll probably tell you something. It's tiring. It's just very tiring. It's divisive. Like it's just sad it's such a, you would think certain things would be like, no, we need to work together as, a people or a country to handle the issue. But then it ends up becoming a pointing game of like, no, they did it. We can't do this because of them. And never anyone taking responsibility or making any progress. So it just feels like a stupid formality that we just do.
And what do you think about your country?
So I mentioned earlier that I really like being around people with different backgrounds, and especially people of international backgrounds. I not saying I hate other Americans. I just prefer anyone who's not American, as I just want to know more about the way I feel. It's just like socially, this Americans don't try to understand people or assume things are a certain way, and then when they hear that other countries don't do it, they're just like, "What? Why? We do it." And it's just like it's as if it was a simple thing, but it's not. I'm actually I am ethnically Mexican. So I've had that perspective of being able to see at least American culture and parts of Mexican culture. But I am objectively more American than I am Mexican. But growing up being a minority, I'm instantly put in a certain category by other Americans where it's just like.
So what would be Mexican culture?
Mexican culture?
Yeah.
Well, so to me personally, it's like I feel like there's even a subdivision in there. I feel like I'm not truly Mexican as I was born in America. So I'm a mixture of different two different cultures. So if you were to put me in a room with another person who was actually born in Mexico, I'd be able to talk to them in the native language. But what they how they grew up is going to be completely different from how I grew up, and how I grew up is going to be almost completely different from American, because they're just like, I just had this, whereas I lack knowledge in both American and Mexican culture, while at the same time knowing certain things about the other.
Yeah, yeah.
So I guess to answer your question, for me, I am Mexican American. So I'm aware of certain things like within that subculture. in America, where it's
what are these things?
we grew up with. Sorry. So, like, I would say not just the Mexican American minorities, but I would say most minorities in America, usually their parents came to America from another country, and they didn't really come in with a lot of money, so they spent a lot of their time working. But because of that, at least in my experience, my mother and my father were always working till late at night, and I had to either they had a family friend take care of me, and then by the time I turned like 12, I was alone at the house with my younger brother and had the responsibility of, while they're out, uh, take care of him and I until my parents got back. And it was just I grew up used to just my parents not being at home as often, or being able to pick me up from school, or it's just they're always working. And whereas I knew growing up, like I saw other friends, they had their parents, they had their mom or their dad pick them up from school, or their parents came in and brought them food for their lunch. And it was just during school, seeing when they had like school events like plays or concerts, their parents came, supported both the parents, whereas sometimes my parents wouldn't be there because they're busy working.
But is it something?
Also, growing up seeing other.
Is it something common in Mexico?
No, I would say America, like as a minority group in America. I would feel that experience is probably common with a lot of minorities, not just Mexican American.
Yeah. Okay.
In Mexico, I don't. I've only visited there and was there for a couple times in my life. But seeing my parents are from a village.
But what would be the differences between Mexican culture and American culture? Is there big differences?
Yeah, there be differences. I don't know where to begin. I guess in America, there's a lot of luxuries that Americans have. Like just growing up, they're used to having a lot of luxuries, disposable income, just a higher quality of living. Whereas in where my parents are from in Mexico, it was a lower quality of living. Like here in America, you can have like a hot shower, cold shower, use the same bathroom. Whereas my dad, how he grew up, he had a tank at the top of his house, and you have to manually fill it with water, and then that water would be used to shower with. And if it was empty, there's no water. You have to manually fill it up. And then they had farm animals. They had some chickens, and grab food from like eggs from there. Whereas, there was so we did have electricity, but it was just a couple of places on in the house. But other parts are it's just complete dark once it turns nighttime.
And are you religious, or do you believe in God or something special like faith?
Yeah, I would say I am Christian. It's that's why I said I feel a bit connected from Mexican culture, as Mexicans, as like the countries, a lot of the population, they're Catholic. My parents were Catholic until a year after I was born. They switched to Christianity or Protestant Christianity. So that's my entire upbringing.
So what does it mean to be
So,
a Christian?
yeah, I grew up. To be honest, that's something I had doubts about recently in the past couple of years. I kind of hesitate to call myself Christian because saying that has like a connotation that nowadays doesn't feel as good. People kind of just like, oh, they're Christian, they're probably this way because they're Christian. That and what I mean by that is a lot of Christians, they can be really hateful. And it it divides. It's such a, at least the American Christians, they can be so hateful, or they just, as a group overall, I just never hear really good things about them, or like people hear and it's like, like recently in America, we had abortion overturned. So it's illegal in a couple of states.
Are you like?
So it's like a lot of people are angry.
Are you against abortion, or like, do you want to forbid it, or no?
No, I'm not against it. I don't like the idea that we can just help a group of people. No, you can't do that because of this.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's just so many things we just don't know about that we can't just make that decision just like that, or make it illegal in a country.
So what is your view on
no, I would say I support people having a choice.
What would be your view on life, like as a Christian? Like, is there like a meaning of life, and what?
Yeah,
what do you
I still
learn from
believe
it?
in.
Yeah.
I still believe in the existence of God and Jesus and the Holy Spirit. I just feel like what it means to me is that we just love people, because I just feel like it's so easy just to tell people like you're not doing the right thing because it says in the Bible you can't do this or you have to do this, and it's just such a close-minded and disconnected way to just push away people. It doesn't feel like love. So to me, being a Christian is just showing love to anybody, everyone. Doesn't matter what their background, their belief, what they look like, who they are. Just respect people.
And what do you think what do you think there is after death?
After death, I like to think there's a heaven, an afterlife. There's some things that I question, like if there's an all-powerful God and he loves everybody, why is there a hell? Why does it sound as horrible as all Christians say it is? If God is merciful, why doesn't he forgive? And I know, like, humans can be pretty evil.
How do you imagine the future in 20 or 30 years? What do you think is going to change?
I think, I don't know. I think just society as a whole, there's just going to be an inevitable evolution. There are just problems I probably can't even imagine being with how things are. Like there's like AI, or there's global global warming happening, and then with how divided the world is, and with all the wars going on, I honestly don't know I can't imagine what the future will look like. I just hope for the best.
Do you want children's kids?
Sorry?
Do you want kids? Are you planning on?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would like to have kids.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think would make the world a better place?
I think just trying to understand each other. Just go in with trying to respect people, trying to understand, be as more understanding.
And how do you
Like maybe,
how do you think we could do this?
honestly, I don't know. If I knew, maybe I'd be a politician myself and try to do it, but I honestly don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's so hard. Not everyone thinks the same way I do, so you know,
Yeah.
maybe they feel differently, so it's
What
hard to say.
what do you think about the younger generation? Did you hear?
Can you repeat again? The
Yeah,
younger,
younger generation.
um, I think they're just adapting to however whatever's changing. There's probably things I just, you know, I think I don't know. I guess in my perspective, they kind of seem a little silly, but I mean, I was silly when I was their age. You know, I did things I thought I believed was right at the time, or whatever was trending. So they're just doing the same thing as I did or what my parents did.
Is it are you rather positive or pessimistic about it?
I like to have hope that they'll probably figure it out. There's probably things that they do that's just like it feels like common sense to my generation, but for them it's just like no. But it's understandable they don't because we, I guess, how things are, they no longer have to rely on certain skill sets. So I would say it's positive because they're more adapted to the current environment in the world. I think they'll be okay.
And do you think the world is changing in a like is improving or is getting worse?
That's a hard question. You could say both because right now there's wars starting to happen, like Israel, Palestine, now Iran and America. The Ukraine war is still happening with Russia, and then there's China with Taiwan and the U.S. So it's just like no, but also nowadays the new generation, they're kind of tired of taking shit from people. They just want to. They're more firm. They're more. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm forgetting English. They're more firm on what they can. They're of what they accept or what is acceptable. So I feel as the older generation starts to die out, our generation will start taking over, and they're kind of more open minded, and then the next generation will probably follow in our footsteps or maybe improve it. So I want to say slightly improving, but also that we're still dealing with the consequences of the bad choices humanity has made.
Wait. So it's 45 minutes in. What superpower would you like to have if you could have any superpower?
For me, being able to learn any skill. Like if I wanted to learn how to do a certain thing, I could just see somebody, and then the I can instantly learn how to do it, and just like that. Like I what I would normally when I get asked that, I used to say, learn any language instantly, because then I can just communicate with any people group. But I think any skill would probably be more useful. As I could still learn any language, but I could still learn any skill.
What would be the best human quality?
This human quality, I think evolving. We just adapt. What it looked like, how the world looked like 100 years ago is now completely different to it is now. Technology evolved rapidly. Now we're working on AI, which I didn't think would, happen in my lifetime. So it's maybe not exactly how it is in the movies, but there's things, electrification of vehicles, and now maybe in our lifetime, in our generation's lifetime, we'll see the first humans living on a different planet.
What is motivating you in your darkest hour? Like when it's hard to keep going, what is motivating you?
I don't know. I've been feeling demotivated lately. I don't know what's keeping me going.
All right. And what makes you proud?
Proud that I at least tried.
Is there something you want to talk about? Something?
I'm kind of more curious about you, like this podcast and your plans for it. And
yeah, unfortunately, it's it's about you right now.
I know.
mm,
So I guess about me, I guess what I like to do in the future, the next 5-10 years. I would like to. My dream is that I can live in another country and be trilingual in another language.
which one?
I currently the third language I'm kind of working on. I took a break, but is Korean.
Okay.
It's kind of easy, actually. It's similar to Spanish, and in terms of like grammatic structure and certain pronunciations.
So are you planning on living in the US?
I would like to move out of the US at some point in my life.
And where would you go?
At the moment, maybe Asia. Kind of interested in Spain. Canada would be like the kind of, I don't know if it would be the easiest. It wouldn't be too far. It's just up in the north, and they're an English speaking, predominantly an English speaking country, so it'd be easier. Just somewhere new that I've never lived in or been to.
So that would be your dream?
Yes.
Yeah. Interesting. You never went outside of the US, right? Yet?
I've been to Mexico. I've been to Bolivia. I stopped at an airport in Colombia, but I never really been anywhere else outside of the US, which is kind of makes me sad.
Do you have a book, like a favorite book, favorite movie, something you want to recommend? YouTube channel?
Actually, I don't know. Maybe it might apply to more so Americans, but my favorite YouTube, or not my favorite YouTube channel, but what I've been watching is this YouTube channel called, I think, Financial Audit. I think is what they're called. But he's a YouTuber, a US YouTuber, and he goes over. He goes over. the finances of people who are in financial troubles. Either they're really broke, or they have a severe debt, or they're supporting a whole family. They're disabled because, just anything related to finances, and to be able to get out of debt. So it's like different types of people he just has come on to his YouTube channel, and he just talks to them. And it's kind of funny because he basically yells at them. He's like, he's like, "You fucking idiot! Like, how are you going to spend $100,000, but you have $50,000 in debt? You could have been out of debt yesterday."
What's the name of the channel?
Or he's like, "You keep eating out. You keep going to McDonald's. It's his name. It's called Caleb Hammer. I'll send you the link. But it's funny, but it's also like, ooh, maybe I can try that because maybe I'm in a similar situation. But it's funny. His thing is like, his personality is tough love. He's just kind of like someone's mom. He's like, you fucking idiot. You could have done this. Why do you keep doing this? Stop.
That's interesting.
Or there's like, you're just making an excuse. He's funny.
A book, a movie?
Books. I don't really read a lot of books lately. Movies. Let me think. One really good movie that I watched in my life was Soul, which is the Pixar movie. I wanted to watch it because I thought it was like about jazz music, but then it was not about jazz. Jazz is just in the movie, but it got a little deeper. It's honestly kind of fitting for your podcast, but it basically, I don't know if you saw it, but by Pixar, and called Soul, and it's about a guy. He is like, has a rough life. He's trying to become a famous musician, jazz musician. So he finally gets his chance, but then he falls in a hole and he kind of dies. But then he gets transported up there, and he doesn't accept that he's gonna die, or he died. So he goes to the afterlife, and then he basically mentors this spirit who is about to be born, but they don't really care. They have to be inspired to live before they get born into a human body. So his whole time he's just trying to. So if he's able to inspire them to want to be alive and be born in the world, then he can come back to life. So the whole movie is about that, and there's just two different perspectives, and they just don't understand each other. And then it's such a beautiful movie. I cried watching it.
What is It's Soul? The name of the movie?
I highly recommend it. It's Soul.
Yeah.
I'll type it out.
What is the year of?
Recently, I think maybe 2020, 2021. It came out 2020.
All right. And the last question is, do you have an advice, like a message in a bottle for the future generations?
I would say everything is not about you, and that just try your best to just understand people, or listen to other perspectives. You'll learn a lot.
All right. Thank you, Tony. Thank you for the talk.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me.